So we are at the All-Star break here, following up. This is a piggyback off of the initial video of the 1993 Rockies rerun titled "Can Dave Need Live Up to the Excitement?" If you all remember Dave Need, he was a pretty exciting, pretty big prospect for the Rockies. I don't know if he technically was considered a prospect because he did have some major league experience. But let's check it out here. Let's check out his real life stats. So this will jump right into it. This is the unfortunate thing is Dave Need is on the IL for only 7 more weeks. You know, I say only, it's a couple months, but not great ratings. However, I'll show you how he's doing. Let's look at real life stats first. So in the minors, single A, double A in 91, came up in the Braves organization. The Rockies actually chose at least 2 pitchers, but 2 starting pitchers that year in 92 in the expansion draft coming into 93, Need and Reynoso, 2 pitchers from the Braves organization with good numbers. So Need in 23 innings, you know, that's not a lot, obviously, but had a 1.17 ERA, started a couple games. So yeah, I would assume he was still a prospect. Most of the year in 92, he was in AAA. Went 14-9 with a 2.84 ERA. That's a 1.41 ERA plus. So was pretty solid. Came up to the Rockies in real life in 93, 5.17 ERA, 87 innings. So I do believe he was hurt. I can't remember for sure, but with that 87 innings and being a young pitcher for an expansion team, kind of highly touted young starting pitcher, you would have thought they would ride him out if he didn't get hurt, but I thought I remember that he got hurt. 77 ERA plus, not very good. Just kind of fizzled out from there on out, you know, below average every year, and ended up in the minors to finish out his career with the Sky Sox AAA, only at 28 years old. So he might have had some injury problems. But anyway, well, I guess similar to our game here, our sim, he's got an injury problem so far. However, he was doing great up until he went on the injured list. So here's the pitching stats: 118, well, sorry, 101, 118 career, but 101 ERA plus with us, with the Rockies. Obviously, that's slightly above average, but a 3.96 ERA, you look at any pitcher with the Rockies, and if they have an ERA under 4, that usually turns the heads a little bit. Obviously, the park adjusted and relative to all other pitchers, he's barely above average. So, you know, maybe he had a lot of maybe this ERA is road inflated or something. Also, and you know, the game factors in the ERA plus, like, you know, comparative to obviously 100 is average, and so 101 is barely above average. But perhaps like there's not a lot of offense at our park. I haven't looked into those numbers. I think I could. Just don't, you know, I haven't done that. I'd have to dig around for a while, and I don't want to do that during this video. But obviously, Coors Field, actually it's Mile High at the time here in this game as well, is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. As you can see, 1.8 on the triples scale, so 1.0 would be average. So 80%, I guess, 80% above average, 84%. 0.3 to be exact. Home runs slightly up. Mostly that's from righties. It's actually less from lefties. And you know, it has Mile High here, so I don't know if when Coors Field gets imported in 93, I guess I'll find out if these factors are the same or if it's unique to just Mile High. I would assume it's unique to Mile High. So anyway, it is obviously a hitter's park, as we all know. But average, yeah, I assume this is just Mile High, because pretty sure the averages are more inflated than this at Coors Field. Just 1.0. I mean, that's basically average. So you're looking at average batting averages, below average doubles, way above average triples, of course, and slightly above average home runs, more so from a right-handed batter, 10%. So yeah, I assume this is just Mile High. So pitching is still the big focus for me, trying to build a good pitching staff. Obviously, That's an important thing for the Rockies organization. So part of what I've done here is just really want to make sure I have good personnel in the pitching department. So this is I know he's inexperienced, this Avery George, but when I sorted by traits here, by ratings, he's excellent at development, excellent at mechanics, legendary at mechanics, legendary at teaching pitching. And he's doing a great job so far, man. We got team ERA is 3.93. So that's good for Colorado. Again, we're not in Coors Field yet. Mile High, a little bit different ballpark parameters and whatnot, even though it is at altitude. But AAA, I have a good guy, a pitching coach here, develops ground ballers, excellent at teaching pitching, good at mechanics, outstanding development. So I have paid a little more for some of these coaches here. This Dave Geeb, that's how you say it. He's an average reputation, but he's on the higher, he's getting paid more than my AAA manager as the pitching coach. So anyway, that's how I wanted to do it here, because pitching's so important. As you can see right now, is the Rockies at 39 and 47 at the All-Star break. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here. We got sorry if you hear my dog whining there. Sometimes when I'm talking on the videos, he thinks something's going on. He wants part of the action. So Phillies here are in first place in the NL East. Astros in first place overall in the NL. Again, if you remember back in '93, before the 1994 new division proposal, which ended up going on strike, so it didn't matter for the playoffs. They played through the All-Star break, I believe. They played in the second half of the season, just did not have playoffs. But that's when we had the kind of the more recent 3 divisions set up with a Central, East, and West. Added a wild card as well. Here in '93, we're still just straight up East and a West on both sides. You got to win your division. You got to be better than the other half of MLB teams in your league to make the playoffs. So 4 teams total make the playoffs. You win the pennant, then you go to the World Series. So over here we got the Yankees in first, and then the Mariners. Only 49 wins, tied with the Rangers. That's a bit more of a weaker division, as we can see. Let's take a look first at the Mariners. They just had, before we do this, let's take a look at the All-Star lineup here, because the All-Stars were just announced and we just finished the All-Star game. So starting here at the starting pitchers in AL, there's Randy Johnson. We just talked about the Mariners. A lot of names I'm sure you recognize. Melindo Perez with the Yankees, who are in first right now. A lot of good closers. Dwayne Ward, Toronto, just tons of All-Stars. Juan Guzman, who got, I think he got re-signed. He goes to arbitration. Okay, never mind. I think Jose Guzman maybe got traded. But we got Juan Guzman on Toronto. We got Dwayne Ward, the closer. Carlos Delgado, highly touted prospect. He was like top 5, I believe. Oh, here we go. He is second still prospect status. Probably hasn't updated. I'm sure the next prospect list to come out, he'll be off of that. But having a great year, on base percentage of 370, slugging almost 517 jacks. So great rookie year. Toronto's got even more All-Stars. Paul Molitor, John Olerud. They're going to be DHing Molitor with Olerud in his 75 defense out of the 2080 scale, but he's a stud. This is even a very high scouting accuracy from my scout, and Olerud was just a stud. So Blue Jays with a lot of All-Stars. There's Alomar, Roberto Alomar. He's a stud as well, high contact guy. Not a lot of home runs, but certainly hit some of them. Very fast. He's going to steal you some bases, and pretty good defensively. Not a great arm, but that's fine for second base, right? So Toronto really kind of stacking the All-Star team here. Other notables, I mean, tons of these. I love all these guys. Love my 90s baseball. So Palmeiro right now, 25 jacks. Believe he leads the majors with that. Here's Albert Bell with 22. Troy Neal, interesting player from Oakland. I say interesting because in real life, he wasn't real well known. He only had 3 years in the bigs. That'd be an interesting thing to dig up on him. I don't know what happened. Was it a career-ending injury? Be great if someone could fill me in on that. I might have to look him up because he was good. I mean, look at his OPS plus over 130 all 3 years. Obviously the first year he only had 53 at bats, but after that had a full season, had 19 dingers. After that had maybe not a full season, but a lot of games, 83 games, 320 plate appearances, 15 jacks. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't see the value in a guy like this because he didn't hit 300, 290 and 93. So yeah, I'd be interested to know what happened with him. But he's a stud here in this game, maybe All-Star game. Interesting here. Obviously, there'll be DH in one of these guys. We got Alan Trammell making it at shortstop. Well, it says he's third base, I guess, for the Tigers. And then you got Travis Fryman, the young shortstop, 24 years old. Trammell is 35. So Tigers set up good there on the left side of their infield. Let's take a look at the NL. Of course, we got Atlanta dominating the starting pitching with Steve Avery, Maddox, and John Smoltz. Who was it here? We had a guy. Here's Jeff Fassero, 18 saves, but a 6.82 ERA. Maybe he got blown up here in like a couple of the last games after he was doing great and getting voted high. But he is extremely popular, and just like in real life, I have the setting on that popularity influences getting picked to the All-Star game. So we've all seen that in real life. Like that guy made not that guy made the All-Star game. We always know who the guy is, but you look at his stats and you're like, ooh, was that really an All-Star year for him? But obviously that happens a lot. The fans vote. They vote for the popular players. So let's keep scrolling here. Mike Piazza, in the other universe that I simmed, in the other video I have, he retired to play basketball. Out of the park is awesome like that with its randomness. But in this one, I started in 93, so he was up on the squad with the Dodgers. This is his rookie year, and he's having a breakout year, I guess, your first year. He's having a stud year, 16 jacks, slugging over 600, over 1,000 OPS for him. So he's a notable there. Houston, a lot of good all-stars: Bagwell, Biggio, and Luis Gonzalez, and it looks like Jim Lindemann too. Haven't really heard of this guy. Yeah, he had a couple real good years here. 91 with the Phillies, so I feel ashamed that I haven't really, it does ring a bell, but it's not a guy that I would have thought of. Jim Lindemann, but with Philadelphia, he was real good in 91, but 111 plate appearances, so he wasn't a big part of their team. And 94 was his next highest, I guess you could say, legit year, because he had a lot of plate appearances and a 121 ERA plus. 93 a better OPS plus, but only 23 at bats. So yeah, made the All-Star game in this sim. Houston, a lot of All-Stars here as well. Sheffield's still on San Diego, started in San Diego, and I guess he got traded to the Marlins then in real life. Yeah, I was thinking they expansion drafted him, but no, they traded for him. But yeah, I did, much of the year there with San Diego. Looks like about half and half, 67 games started, 66 games started. So Sheffield's still with San Diego, made the All-Star team. And the Rockies here, my team, we got Galarraga. Love the big cat. It has their nicknames on here too. El Gato Grande, Andres Galarraga, the big cat. We got Gerald Young, cool surprise here, because his ratings, he's got good gap power, but below average contact, below average home run power. He is fast. He's good defensively. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to re-sign him. we'll look at that in a little while here. But Gerald Young made the All-Star team. In real life, you know, he was mostly a minor leaguer. Well, you know, he ended up, I guess, with St. Louis, but up and down with the Rockies in '93, 23 plate appearances. I guess I shouldn't say mostly a minor leaguer, because he came up young at 23 with Houston and had a lot of at bats. Yeah, that's 3 full seasons. 1990, he must have been, that's when he must have started to bounce. Yeah, bounce up and down a little more, back at AAA, 91 to AAA, 92 and AAA, 93 with the Rockies, AAA. So definitely a guy that was bouncing a lot back and forth. So cool to see him an all-star in this game. He was obviously a good athlete in real life, played center field and shortstop. So Gerald Young, Andres Galarraga. Here's Bonds, of course. He's always a notable, slugging .571, 19 jacks. And then my other all-star was Braulio Castillo. So another guy that was kind of bouncing a lot back and forth in real life, just only up 2 years, I guess, with the Phillies. And was a rookie and in a pro ball, not in the MLB, but first year in pro ball as a 19-year-old, and stopped when he was 26. So I'm not sure what happened with him, what his story was, if he got hurt or if he, you know, just retired. But he made the All-Star game here as well, and he is slugging, I believe, over 1,000. Is it still? Let's see. Sorry, not slugging. That'd be incredible. OPS, yeah, we're at 971 OPS for old Braulio. He's my leadoff guy because he's pretty fast. He's good at base running, and I like this at altitude. A lot of balls that are going to be hitting the air, and you got to cover a lot of ground. So good outfield range. He is on auto renew. He's still on the minimum, so he will be around next year. But let's go back to the standings here. So Blue Jays, as we saw, a lot of all-stars, but they're 3 out. They're not first. Yankees are looking good. Yankees, Paul O'Neill hitting cleanup. Danny Tartabull, not a great average, but 11 jacks. Bernie Williams leading it off. They have a great farm system in this game. They have Jeter, Posada. Those guys aren't up yet. Andy Pettit, he's not up yet. So looking good for the Yankees right now and for the future. Now, in real life, I don't think they were great yet in '93. When did they win it? I think like '95 or something, and that's when they had those guys coming up, you know, all those minor league studs that are minor leaguers right now. But yeah, at this time, Jimmy Key, he was pretty good, and Melindo Perez is doing well in this game, and he had a couple good years, I believe, in real life. Yeah, here's his ERA plus. Yeah, right around, you know, with the White Sox, the Yankees in '92, 2 real good years. Then he was pretty far below average in '93 in real life. About average after that. '94, below average '95. So in this game, he's doing great, 10-2 with under a 3 ERA. You know, Jim Abbott was always a pretty good pitcher, but it looks like they're, you know, their batting average is 2nd in the MLB. So high on base, high batting average, 2nd in OPS, 1st in batter war. So they're hitting. And if you look at all these guys ranked high, top 3 outfielders there in the MLB, maybe not outfielders, but at their position at least. Mike Stanley, the number 2 ranked catcher in the game right now. So Yankees looking good. Let's take a look at the Mariners here. Obviously, we got Griffey, an all-star. We got Randy Johnson, the all-star. They got Tino with 16 dingers. Looks like they're hitting as well. High 2nd in batting average to the Yankees. Oh, sorry, to the Astros. Oh, that's right. This is overall MLB, and to the left here, this is in the AL. So 2nd in the AL to the Yankees. And pitching starters ERA is 2nd. Bullpen ERA not great, but with Randy, Bosio, Hansen, they're looking solid. Norm Charlton, a good closer, 22 saves and a sub-2 ERA. Let's keep moving on here. So Phillies, they're in 1st in the East. They got Dykstra, Kroc, Pete Inky, Darren Dalton, big slugger, a lot of sluggers here. You can see they're top in runs scored, first in the MLB, not only the NL, but the MLB. Big hitting team, good starters ERA, terrible bullpen ERA. That is last in the NL. So yeah, there's Larry Anderson's their closer. Looks like they've been trying to use Mitch Williams' wild thing as well, who does have a better ERA, but he's their setup guy right now. He's got 14 saves, so maybe they're kind of using them interchangeably. But look at this. De Leon and David West with over 8 ERAs. Those are Colorado Rockies numbers there. That's pretty pathetic, but they're riding them out, I guess, even though they're in first place. So maybe they don't have any other good minor league options or something. Dykstra and Kruk first ranked at their position in the game. Obviously, they got Schilling. Tommy Green is a stud in this game. Now, in real life, he had a couple good years. You can see 93 was a good year. Had a 3.42 ERA, 16 wins, 1.14 ERA plus. But overall, career-wise, he was below average. But he's good in this game. Now, my scouting accuracy is average on him. So let's take a look also at the OSA ratings and compare it, and they're basically the same. So, and that's a low rating. OSA is just the default ratings of the game, which you can set to 100% if you want, but that's why I think it's cool doing the realistic deal with the scout. So OSA is just going to be kind of random. It's got it on low for him here, and then my scout shows what it is here. So pretty good. Yeah, Danny Jackson, sub 3 ERA. Terry Mull, all their starters are good ERAs. So I guess they just don't have to dip to that pen too often, hopefully for them. And finally, let's take a look at the Stros in first place in the West. And we saw those all-stars. They had Biggio, Bagwell, Gonzalez, Lindemann, and they got Doug Drabeck as their ace with 10 wins already at the all-star break, sub 3 ERA. Pete Harnisch, ridiculous, under a 2 ERA. Did he make the all-star game? Yeah, he did. So all-star in 91. That's in real life as well, since this sim started in 93, and an all-star in 93. So looking good for the Astros all around. Their starters ERA is 3rd, bullpen ERA is 4th. They have Xavier Hernandez, who was also an all-star. Doug Jones is their setup guy. Reynolds with a 0.9 ERA, only 10 innings pitched, but he's their other setup guy. Yeah, they're going to be tough. I like the Astros here. Baggs is the 2nd best first baseman in the game. You got Biggio, Luis Gonzalez. Lindemann is number 4 in center. Pete Harnisch, 2nd best starting pitcher. So I like the Stros. Unfortunately, I've had to play them a lot because, again, they're in the West with me. So you play a lot of these teams here. Let's take a look at the Rockies and see how we are doing here. So again, Need is unfortunately on the injured reserve, but we do have Reynoso with a very solid ERA for being in Colorado. And let's go ahead and just sort by ERA plus here. As you can see, Reynoso with a 1.10 ERA plus. Some of these guys up here that are ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know if this is my pitching coach. I want to give him the credit. Maybe it's just luck, but Bruce Ruffin, man, with a 2.64 ERA plus and a 1.52 ERA. Now I'm playing the games. You sim them though, so it's not like your skill is good by just clicking pitch. You're not like doing anything to make it a tough pitch or anything. Obviously, I like to pitch around when warranted. I like to use these guys in strategic situations, but I've done that before in the game, and it doesn't always work out to be like this. So I've simmed a lot of seasons with the Rockies with Out of the Park, and this is by far the best bullpen that I've ever had. Now, I have not done a lot with Out of the Park 2023. So that's this version. Maybe like it's more accurate with Mile High versus Coors Field. So maybe these guys are doing better because Mile High wasn't as much of a hitter's ballpark. And if you're curious about that, Mile High was smaller dimensions. So you'd think, oh, there's going to be more home runs. That's what they were planning on by making Coors Field bigger. Is like, hey, it's going to be harder to hit home runs, but you have a much bigger outfield then, more ground to cover, a lot of doubles, a lot of triples, and a lot of just like loop base hits because your outfielders have more ground to cover, a lot of gappers. So even though the home runs might be a little more down because you make the field huge, Coors Field in real life, biggest power alleys in baseball. So Mile High Stadium was not like that. So you were going to have some more home runs. According to this game, that's more so to right-handed batters. But and in this game, the triples are really high at Mile High as well. But the batting averages are not. So, you know, you get guys that miss barrels. I think that's probably good because then hopefully you limit the damage of triples. Missing barrels is always good, but I like these guys with movement. Bruce Ruffin, because that's what misses barrels. Jeff Parrott, a lot of movement, you know. So balls that are in play, but not for extra base hits. I'll take that. I'll take that at altitude. So Willie Blair, below average movement, but good control. He's been solid. So anyway, I've been ecstatic about my bullpen. It's probably a combination of all these different factors, probably a little luck as well. And then we got a good pitching coach. We're at Mile High. Anyway, we're going to keep riding it out, seeing how it goes. But I like where our starting pitching is. It's a little thin without need, but a lot of guys that just kind of like Lance Painter. He's a minor league guy. Brought him up, put him on the roster. Andy Ashby did pitch with Philadelphia in real life as well in '92, but didn't do well. He's doing okay for me, you know, not great. Hoblitzel in real life, I don't know if he made the show ever. He did not. He was a AAA guy at the most. So it's cool giving him a shot in this game. As you can see, pretty below average ratings. His control is average, but he's hanging in there for a rookie. 4.58 ERA. And the goal is develop these guys, right? I want these guys. He's 22 years old. Butch Henry's 24. I do know in real life he was a pretty highly touted prospect with the Astros. And so the Rockies got him in the expansion draft, lefty. And he ended up going, was it the Expos? Yeah, so ended up going to the Expos and did extremely well. Look at that with Montreal and then Boston. Ended up Seattle, bad year, and I don't know, just fizzled out, I guess. I don't know if he went down to the minors after that. 99, yeah, went down to AAA, and he missed all of 2000. He must have been hurt or something. Then he was already 33, so damaged goods, I guess, at that point. But in his prime, he was solid, man. 1.60 ERA with the Expos. With the Rockies, of course, pitchers just got killed with the Rockies of a 61 ERA plus, 6.59, so 84 innings, and they probably sent him down after that, I imagine, because he was in AAA then for a good chunk of the year as well, and then went to Montreal, ended up being a beast. So good for him. I'm looking to hang with him. Got him on the minimum, and he's pretty decent ratings. I mean, above average control, just below average movement, and barely below average stuff, which was somewhat more common around this time. Once you start getting more into the, I guess, even 2000s, but late 90s, you start seeing guys with more stuff. They're throwing harder. They're getting more strikeouts. Who knows what that is? I don't know if it's the balls or what. You hear a bunch of theories on that. Roids, who knows? Strikeouts and home runs, just way more powerful players. But anyway, I'm proud of this pitching staff. I'm 39 and 47, definitely doing better than projected. Let's see what I was projected actually here. But I know it wasn't this solid. So yeah, 68 and 94. So not 100 losses, which is great. And right now I'm only 8 games below 500. So I guess that would be 16 games below 500 if you projected that out to the entire year. But we're a little past halfway. I believe the All-Star break's a little past halfway. Yeah, anyway, I'm excited with our pitching. Here's our hitting. Let's sort by OPS plus. Braulio, of course, ripping the ball. Excited about him. Not great main ratings, but he's got excellent gap power and he's fast. But home run, eye, contact are all average or below average. Strikes out a decent amount. But I like him. He's young. 25 years old. Then we got Andres. We got Chris Jones, another cool story, because in real life he was a lot of minor leagues, guy in the minor leagues a lot. You can see really bounced back and forth. Let's go back to, it's messy here. We'll go back to his major league stats. Came up with the Reds in 91, came to the Rockies for a couple years, did okay, you know, above average here in 94, but only 48 or 42 plate appearances. Went to the Mets, did real well that year, and then, you know, not great as a 31-year-old with the Mets. Did real well. Yeah, I'd say, you know, 112 ERA, OPS plus with the Padres at 32. So he had, the game has him at pretty decent ratings here. You can see above average gap power, above average home run power, barely below average eye, barely below average contact. He's fast, 35. You know, he's going to strike out, but he's been hitting a lot of jacks for me, and he's been on fire. So he is my home run leader with 15. Galarraga's in second place with 11. You know who's been kind of a disappointment is Dante Bichette, my man. He's a 79 OPS plus. He's only got 3 jacks, you know, slugging under 400, man. What's up, Dante? In real life, you know, he was obviously an outstanding hitter, but I got him hitting 6. So right now I am in control of the lineups. I leave that up to the manager. So I don't like override anything, but my manager allows me to do that. So I'm setting them. But since I play and sim all these games anyway, I guess I would anyway. But this is how I have them set. Pedro Castellano, highly touted prospect in real life as well. And in this game, brought him up about halfway so far, halfway to the All-Star break. As you can see in AAA, had the majority of his bats, and he was tearing it up. 390 OBP, 458 slugging, and he's doing well with us now too, up in the majors. So I got him hitting 3rd. Got Chris Jones, who's more of a slugger, but has been hot lately. Now he's hitting 273, but he was like 240s. You can see his on-base percentage is under 300, just barely. But Castellano, higher on-base percentage, better batting average. Well, not better now since Jones has been hot, but I like Castellano 3-hole. Dante hitting 6. Nelson Liriano, fun Rocky. I say fun because he was kind of one of those guys that was up and down a little on the squad. Like he was a spring training guy, I think 93 and 94. 93, 94. And then he got traded to Pittsburgh in 94, but he was OPS plus was above average all these years. So I like him. Goes to arbitration. We're going to hang on to him most likely, you know, unless it looks like he's going to require way too much, but I don't see that happening because he's below average in most areas. But I like his ratings. I think he's got a chance to be better than he is so far, and he's not going to be real expensive. So on that note here, let's take a look at where we are, the front office. We're going to have a mill for free agents at this point for next year. Our player payroll, of course, is second to last. Our budget's not too far above that until we can start gaining some money, keep trying to get some popularity, fan interest. We want to keep moving that up. Fan loyalty, that means you want to hang on to guys as much as you can, especially if they're popular, and that helps your fan interest too. But we do have 800,000 for extensions. Only thing is my all-star Gerald Young here is the one guy that I'd want to really extend out all these guys, and he's demanding almost 30 mil. So I can't afford that. So I have shopped him around a few times. Haven't seen any deals that I think are worth it or fair. So I would like to get something out of him. Fortunately, he's unknown. He was just an all-star, so that might change. But you know, no one really knew of him, and he's having a great year. He's fast. He's good at defense. I'd love to keep him. I just would really have to free up a lot. He's not worth 3 mil, man. Let's take a look at the the average or the highest payroll, at least here. Here's the MLB player list. And let's view by financial info. Here's salaries. So Bonds is at 4.8 mil. He's the highest. Let's look at shortstops. That's what Gerald Young is. And Jay Bell, Barry Larkin, you know, big names, Ripken Jr., Fernandez. I mean, these guys are all studs. Fernandez, I guess, doesn't have great ratings, but Larkin does, you know, outstanding defensively too there. Jay Bell can hit, good at defense. So these guys are around 3 mil. There's Ozzy, you know, he wasn't a great hitter, never struck out though, but obviously the Wizards as far as defensively. So Gerald Young wants that kind of money. He wants, you know, 3 mil. So I guess he can make an argument he's worth it. His ratings aren't quite, he's got good gap power, he's got good eye. You know, he's just below average contact home run. I guess the home run, that would be normal for a shortstop. But he is fast, he's good defensively. So, you know, maybe he's worth it, but it's hard for me to shell out that dough as the Rockies currently. So may look to trade him. I want to keep riding him out though. I want to keep him on the squad as long as we can. So as the trade deadline nears, we might look to make that move. That's kind of the main move we're looking to make. These other guys are just minor league guys that their minor league free agency is up. So they're either going to be pulled up to the MLB squad or, you know, released, not re-signed. Terry Wells, probably won't re-sign him unless he starts getting better. He's got a 5.74 ERA in AAA and just terrible control. Same amount of control you'd give to a position player, just throws it apparently. No movement really, not much stuff, you know, just below average. Wassenaar, I might re-sign him. I'll probably pull him up once the 40-man roster expansion hits, see how he does. And same with Shepard. Well, Shepard now is not doing as well as he was earlier in the year. 5.66 ERA, not good control either. So I'm not sure if I'll spend the money to pull those guys up, but Wassenaar probably put on the 40-man. Even though my pen is solid, you know, it can't hurt to give him a shot. So that's where we're at. Let's take one final look at the stats here. MLB stats. Look at the leaders. Piazza leading the batting average. There's Andres Galarraga, 5th. Like I said earlier, Palmeiro, 25 jacks, leading the MLB. There's Barry with 19. Let's keep looking here. OPS, Piazza leading at over 1,000. I know Braulio is in here, but he may not qualify. Well, let's see. What is he at? I thought he was over a 991. Let's see where old Braulio is, my OPS leader. 97. Yeah, so he just doesn't qualify. He did make the All-Star game, though, but doesn't qualify yet. He was hurt for much of the year. So he was hurt right at the start of the year. So he doesn't qualify yet, but he'll be up there. That'll be cool to see. He'll be in the OPS as long as he stays healthy and keeps being in the starting lineup, which he will be. Let's take a look at, here we go. Here's triples. You can see old Mile High panning out. Braulio. Oh, so he qualifies for that? Well, that's strange. I don't know if that's like a glitch in the game or something here, or if there's different, maybe there's different qualifications for different categories, but he's leading the MLB in triples. And then you got Chris Jones right behind him. 2 Rockies back-to-back. Stolen bases, Delino DeShields with 50. Let's see what he had in real life in 93. 93 real life, only 43. His career high was 55. So definitely a lot more steals this year right now for him at least. But it seems like that's a lot. That's, you know, these guys, I think steals are up here. Chuck Carr, I know he stole a lot of bases. He had 58 in 93, but he's on pace for more than that right now with 46 already. Lofton had a lot one of these years. Let's see, what did he have? Stolen, yeah, he had 75 in 96, 70 in 93, 66 and 92. So that's probably about the right pace for him compared to real life. He's got 38 right now. Like I said, in the prior, my prior video, which I will put in the link of the description of this one, I'm not big, being the Rockies, not big on small ball. Now, granted, my manager is a little bit, he likes stealing, so I do have a lot of guys that have stolen bases. And because of that, we are actually tied for 4th in the NL. And base running is only 8, so we're probably getting caught a decent amount. But I don't like that, but that's just some of the give and take that you have to have. You know, we'll go to my manager. Let's go back to him. Where is he here? I think I need to go to staff, front office here, personnel. So here he is, Eric Miller. I got him because this stuff has actually now changed a little bit. So he's still good at handling development, which I like. He was good at teaching stuff, but I guess he's not as good as we thought. Maybe my scout was a little off on him, or maybe he's gotten worse. But at least he's still good at development. It's the main thing that I look for in a manager. And he gives me the green light on all this stuff. And you know what? I think that has changed now too. So that might be something that I want to go in. Here's strategy. Oh yeah. See, everything is green now. That's pretty cool, pretty interesting. At the start of the year, he was a little more stubborn. Maybe he wanted to do it his way. And, we're below 500. It's still better than what I was expecting. But maybe he thought we'd be better than what we are now. So now he's telling me, hey, I'm going to give you the green light. So let's go back to, okay, we'll just do all times here. So I'm going to lower that. We're going to be a little more conservative. We're not going to really hit run. We're not really going to sack bunt. We could maybe squeeze, but not really. Bunt for hit, I'm all right with. If you're fast, you get on base. Pitch around, not really early in the game. So I'm going to change this to. I'll do this. It's probably boring for you, so I'm gonna set these and then change it to late in the game, and then I might do a little more pitch around and stuff. But anyway, that's pretty interesting. That it looks like my manager had a little change of heart here. Not sure what happened. Maybe he was a little cocky coming in, and now he wants to get some input from the old general manager. So anyway, that's where we're at here at the All-Star break. Thanks for watching, and we'll check in for the next one soon.